Check this out. Nick Fuentes had an interview with Gavin McInnes. It's bound to be insane. Let's listen to what they have to say here. Censored.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
As if they've never met, or as if they didn't just show up to the same place and lay out all of the chairs and plan all of this. They're just meeting for the first time today. Totally.
So, I have so much to talk to you about. We have limited time. I guess we should get the Jews out of the way because I agree with you on pretty much everything, but I'm a Jewophile.
Yeah.
Zionist, love them.
Okay, I don't think Gavin McInnes loves the Jews, but he did argue with Kanye West about his position on Jews and said you need to not judge people based on, like, you don't need to prejudge people, or you don't need to have prejudice. You need to assume that each person you're talking to is going to be an entirely new person and not look at a statistic, basically. I'm assuming that's his position. And Nick Fuentes believes that Jews are basically working for Satan. So let's see how it goes. Are they wearing the exact same suit? The exact same suit, the exact same shoes, even, and everything, really? You can see these guys man-spreading over here.
Does that like churn in your gut when I say that?
No, not
I
really.
love Jews.
Okay, that's
Who was that guy? Cody Derbyshire? I haven't checked in on Chestnut Couch Face. What the fuck's his name?
I don't know.
He's a groiper. He tried to get on this network. Cody Chesternut?
Cody Chesternut?
What's his?
Oh, Pine Sap. Is that here?
No, not that. No. This is long ago.
Oh, okay.
He had his own show, and I think it was with you. I think you guys had a falling out. I'm starting out a show with the guy.
James Alsop?
No, it's a really weird name.
Oh.
Like Crispy Chester Buttons.
I don't know any
What the f- is he talking about? I'm so confused.
Fuck. Look that up, Sean. I don't know what to look up. But anyway,
Yeah.
I would say like I'm a Zionist and stuff, and I could see him go,
Wait, is he a Zionist? What, like Gavin McInnes? I didn't know he was a Zionist.
because I was on his show a couple of times.
You can be a Nazi and a Zionist simultaneously, FYI. Zionist just means you think that Jews should live in Israel, in the Middle East, Israel region. I mean, Hitler made deals with Zionists, of course. In September 33, I think, he made a deal to allow them to keep most of their assets if they were moving to Palestine region.
I guess just to sort of start at the end, and then we'll go do all the fun stuff later. Let's get some thumbnails too.
Okay, this is stupid.
The biggest thing I want you guys to know.
What did they use for the thumbnail on this, I wonder? Oh, they didn't even use the image for the thumbnail. Okay, great.
Is that the Jews are not a monolith. And we've had this argument before.
Yeah.
And you go, yeah, well, I feel like there's a kinship there. And there absolutely is not. Like, my family is kind of Catholic, Irish, Scottish, and they fucking hate the English. And the fact that I was born in England was just like, it was like I was gay or like, they still love me, but there's this horrible thing that happened. And there's no reverence. There's no like, well, if it came down to it, like, for example, when the Scots, when the English were playing soccer against Spain, if you're in Wales, all the Scots are cheering every time Spain gets a goal. The Welsh are kind of freaked out by that. They're sort of split on the English thing, but like they want England to suffer. And that's how Orthodox and Hasidic and even secular Jewish conservatives feel about these ADL, SPLC Jews.
Right. Well, yeah, I talked about that on my show the other night. ADL just got kicked out of the FBI.
They did. Basically, Kash Patel is I'm going to take the step to say he's a neo-Nazi. Talks about Valhalla and stuff. That's a clear as day Nazi dog whistle. And he just kicked the ADL out of the FBI where they were doing like racial sensitivity training, basically, and explaining how to recognize when something is like, like racial profiling or whatever. And Kash Patel basically told them they can't do that anymore. They're out. I wonder if they're regretting their decision to support Donald Trump yet. The ADL, that is. I mean, I don't know that they supported him directly, but they supported Elon Musk. They protected him when he did a full Nazi salute. They've run cover for the far-right Trump positions and everything else. The ADL is absolutely awful and disgusting at this point.
And who was celebrating? It was the ZOA. It was Mort Klein. It was Ben Shapiro.
ZOA, what is that? Zionists of America?
It was Joel Pollack at Breitbart. And you're right, they've all been anti-ADL ever since 2015, because that's when Jonathan Greenblatt took over, and he's a Democrat partisan. But I would say that...
He's a Democrat partisan? Hold on. Apparently he is a Democrat. I had not heard that before. Then why did he defend Elon Musk's Nazi salute? That was one of the craziest things I have ever seen. The Anti-Defamation League, this Jewish organization, defending a full-blown Nazi salute. Like, that was so wild. All right, I downloaded it. 325. Here we go.
Jonathan Greenblatt took over, and he's a Democrat partisan. But I would say that what is the cause of the conflict? It is an internal battle. It's an intra-Jewish conflict. And what I mean by that is they're debating about ultimately what is best for the Jews. And the left-wing Jews believe in liberal universalism, that's the best for the Jews. And the Israeli right, the American right and Jewry, they think that Israel needs to be as strong as possible and as identitarian as possible. That's a last refuge.
I disagree. I think they want what's best for the West. And you know how many Jews hate Israel, right?
Interesting. So he's saying that Jews want what's best for the West.
Like even Hasids in Israel, the reason they refuse to join the IDF is because they don't support Israel. They say, we're here too early. We're supposed to wait for Christ.
Right.
So within the Jew world, within the Jays.
Jesus, dude. Like, these people are so casually hateful and, what's the word? Like, bigoted. It's wild.
The animosity towards Israel is, I'm just pulling this out of my ass, I'm going to say 50%.
I don't think it's 50%.
If you include all the seculars, all the Hasids, you're going to get north of 40.
Why isn't he just saying Hasidic? Why is he leaving off the IC? Hasidic, the Hasidic community. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Damn. I feel like he's using a slur right now. Like, I can't tell.
Inside Israel or globally?
Globally.
But I don't think that they hate Israel. I think that they hate the Likud party, the liberal ones. I think they hate Netanyahu. George Soros.
I want to separate that.
Which?
They hate the concept of Israel, even the ones that are there. Separately, Israelis are not a fan of Netanyahu at all.
Well, why do they keep electing him? He's a long.
It's like Justin Trudeau. It's a parliamentary system, and once you get your foot in the door, you can sort of expand forever. Like Justin Trudeau did 3,000 terms.
But maybe they don't like him, and he's certainly less popular now. But they support everything he's doing. It's like 80% approval for
Netanyahu. Yeah, 100%. They may not like him, but yeah, Fuentes totally correct here.
The war in Iran.
I didn't know this was going to get so heated so fast. I disagree again.
That's just the facts.
No, you say they support what he's doing.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, if you don't know Gavin McInnes, he started the Proud Boys. He's the creator of the Proud Boys. And Vice News, believe it or not. And a bunch of other stuff. And Nick Fuentes is the founder of the America First Party, the new modern day America First Party. And the Groypers. He started the Groypers. These
Israelis that I know are furious about October 7th. They agree with you, I assume. Yeah. I assume that you believe, and as I do, that they let it go on too long.
Well, I think they just let it happen, period.
Right. I don't know the percentage. Probably almost half of Israelis agree with that, and they're fucking mad because they were killed.
Right, yeah.
They had to fight with their own guns, protecting their own homes.
Right.
Which they did a great job at, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good at that. Well, they all have military service. But there was the leader of the opposition did an op-ed in the New York Times, Benny Gantz, in the Israeli government. And, France.
Like, Nick Fuentes is a very level-headed person in a lot of ways, which makes him disturbing, like extra disturbing and bizarre. Like, he says some very reasonable things, and then he just busts out this shit about how, like, Jews are the eternal evil that are like controlling the world and everything else. It's nuts.
In the UK, they're all recognizing Palestine. And the leader of the opposition in the Knesset came out and said, if you think you're against Netanyahu by being against these policies, he said, you're wrong. He said,
the Knesset is like their Congress in Israel, I believe.
You're against all of us. He said, because everyone in the government and most of the people, we support what Netanyahu's doing. So in other words, he said, don't get it twisted. Don't think that you're just opposing him. He said, this is the bipartisan security consensus of Israel after October 7th, and that consensus is that it's unacceptable to have Hamas and Gaza in close proximity to Israel because of what is possible if they demonstrated.
Okay, so when I think of Netanyahu, I think of a warmonger who wants to pick a fight with Egypt, who wants to pick a fight with Lebanon, who would love to provoke Iran to the point where China and Russia get involved, and we have
absolutely
a global World War III. Jews don't want that.
I don't think
they do. Well, okay, again, this is a monolith thing. The people in Israel do. I feel like we are witnessing a moment of mass, mass psychosis in Israel. We're seeing absolute insanity unfold in the minds of people in Israel. They're just they're just obsessed with controlling the region and will do literally anything up to and including a genocide, which is what's happening. It's insane and disturbing.
But I do think they want to destroy Iran. They want regime change in Iran.
Absolutely. Of course. This is like an open stated thing. Yes. Is he talking about overall, generally people in Israel? Yeah.
They always
I want regime change in Iran.
I don't.
You like these Muslims taking over ruining that country?
It's not that I like them. It's that they are necessary to check Israel.
It's okay. Well, that's a bizarre fucking take. It's that it's none of our fucking business. Stay out of it. What happened to this whole... He's the leader of the America First Party. How can you say such a thing? Stay out of it. It's not our problem.
I got to turn off this AC because it picks up on the mic.
Oh, yeah. Good idea.
But his mic sucked. I guess he's fixing it now,
huh? You don't I don't think you hate Muslims enough. That's my Muslims. Problem with you. I hate Muslims. Hey.
No, not really. We love everybody. But...
Oh, come on, bro. Really? Just be honest about it. We know exactly how you feel about people like this.
No, they're really pissing me off though lately.
Who are the Muzzies?
Yeah,
Manchester.
The stabbing. Not more like Hassan Piker and Zohran Mamdani.
These are your bedfellows. That's also on my notes.
I know. It's the third worldists. They've these fucking communists and Muslims. They're all anti-Israel.
And the Columbia students, encampment.
Yeah, UCLA. Yeah.
Those are your brothers.
People cannot protest. They're not allowed to protest. It's talking about protesting. I don't understand.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. it's unfortunate.
I mean, I have strange bedfellows too, I guess. Mm-hmm. But we're all over the map here because we're biting off more than we can chew. But I don't think. I just want you to be aware of how many Jews do not support Netanyahu's policies, and that includes Israel. That includes American Jews. My family's been terrorized by my neighbors who are disproportionately Jewish, but they're secular Jews. They're atheist Jews. They are Marxists. They're Bolsheviks. Mm-hmm. I think
they're Bolsheviks? You can't be real. This guy cannot seriously believe that his neighbors are Bolsheviks. Who the fuck refers to Bolsheviks anymore? You guys aware of what that means? If there's someone in the comments who doesn't know what a Bolshevik is, that was the name of the political party for the communists in Russia in the fucking 20s. And it's what Hitler called the communists. He called them Bolsheviks. You think that your Jewish neighbors are Bolsheviks? When you hear people say shit like this, it should be obvious to everybody. They're completely full of shit, right?
One big difference between you and I is when you think of Holodomor, you think of Jews. When I think of Holodomor, I think of atheists. And once you're an atheist and a communist, you're not part of a religion.
Right.
You're everything wrong with humanity.
Bro, how many atheists and or communists are there in the United States anyway? How many people meet the definition of atheist and communist in the US? Almost nobody. But either way, they're what's wrong with society. Interesting. In what way, I have to ask? I mean, these two poor fools agree with each other on literally every single thing, or just about every single thing, because they're here to suss out the rest. So we're probably not going to get to hear that analysis, but it's already insane what they've said.
And that's who I want to focus the beef on. Because all these great Jews get caught up in the anti-Semitism.
Like who?
Ezra Levant, Ron Coleman, John Gross, Stephen Miller.
Oh, dude, Stephen Miller is awful. But yes, he is Jewish, and that is one reason why Nick Fuentes hates him, for sure.
Wait, why'd you go like that for Ezra?
Well, he has me blocked on Twitter first. So I don't like that. And well, here's the thing. To me, I just feel like the people you're talking about, fundamentally, they care more about Jews than they care about America.
I passionately disagree with that.
I think that they're like nut jobs about anti-Semitism, spurging out about Jew haters, anti-Semitism.
No, they hate the ADL. You know how much Rebel has done for Christians in Iraq? Way more than you and I.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who Rebel is or what he's talking about here.
I don't know about that, but
he was there in northern Iraq. He was there raising money for them to get refuge.
I just question what's really the end game there.
This is interesting. So Nick Fuentes seems to believe that there's like an underground Jewish network, a cabal, if you will, of Jews who are working together to like benefit Israel and Israel alone. And that is actually that's a claim that Hitler made as well. There are absolutely people who are looking out for like how they can assist Israel. And that's the only reason they're here. And the only reason they're like pouring money into the system or whatever. That's absolutely the case for sure. But it doesn't make up the majority of Jews by any stretch of the imagination. That being said, like AIPAC is a very very powerful like lobbying group. So there's that disturbingly powerful lobbying group.
Because I think that when you look at someone like Ezra Levant, he doesn't strike me as like a Canadian patriot. He strikes me as someone that cares deeply about Jews. And
no. You need to hang out with more Jays, dude. He's obsessed with the attack on these Christian churches all over Canada.
Yeah.
Look what he did for Tommy Robinson.
Well, and Tommy Robinson's the closest ally. He's an eternal defender of Israel, waving Israel.
Yeah, but that's not his priority. That's just a thing. It's sort of like me. I kind of resent having to defend the Jews and talk about Israel because it's like I did this sit down right here with Jake Shields. And it was just this.
Oh, dude, Jake Shields is insane. He's like a Patriot Front kind of person who believes that like the Jews are controlling the media and that Hitler was right about a bunch of stuff. It's nuts.
What aboutism? Like, did you know the first terror attack was a Jew? It's sort of like flat earthers.
Yeah.
Like you have to know the thing they're saying to be able to refute it. And I'm not an expert on the history of Jews in Israel, but I just see what happens to my friends on the right, and they get caught in this. It's like a black thing where I can't be a lawyer because the whites have systemic racism.
Right.
It becomes a crutch, and even even the synagogue attack, they're blaming on the Jews.
That's interesting. That was an interesting thing for him to have said.
Even Charlie Kirk, that was a lavalier that blew up. Where do you stand on Charlie Kirk?
I thought that's ridiculous. I think it was a left-wing nut job to kill them.
Well, the FBI says that it was a violent nihilistic attack, i.e., the guy believed that there was no reason to go on living, and he was looking for some way to put his name in the, put his name down in history, pretty much. That's what the FBI said. Kash Patel's FBI said that. So I'm going with that.
It's Occam's razor with that until I get more information.
Exactly, right.
Where do you stand? I feel like you've sort of switched recently on the Jays a little bit.
Yeah, people have been saying that, but that's only because I said that Israel didn't kill Charlie Kirk. But I only believe that because I think that Charlie Kirk was pro-Israel.
So that's you loving Jews in this day and age.
Yeah, literally, yeah. That's
really?
the switch up.
That's all it's based on?
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's crazy because just sort of feeling like we all have our own personal AIs, and just sort of feeling the chatter. I was like, oh, Nick's coming around. He's kind of supporting Israel now.
No, I just said that they didn't kill him.
We have our own personal AIs.
Which is insane.
I saw you talking recently about how if Israel had its way, it would just take over.
Dude, look at how many rings this guy has. There are so many.
Lebanon and Egypt and Jordan. And I'm like, good.
Why is that good?
I see Israel as Doge, and I see Islam as corruption and wasting money.
Okay. And you think that, I mean, that's not exactly true, but okay, you think that genocide is an acceptable or appropriate answer to your problems? This is one of the fundamental issues with Trump supporters. It's like they're willing to do literally anything to accomplish their goals. I hear debates all the time from Trumpists, from MAGAPotamians. They'll say, well, you may complain about Donald Trump, but he's getting it done. He's fixing the streets. He's cleaning it up. He's doing it. And it's like, even if he were reducing crime, which I have no reason to think that's happening at all, immigrants commit less crime per capita than American citizens. Even if that were the case, he's doing it by taking people's rights away. I don't understand where their heads are, where they can justify this to themselves. Wild. Just a reminder, I would really appreciate it if you guys checked out my Patreon. If you're not going to donate, you don't have to, but follow me there at the very least. owenmorgan.com/Patreon. Just in case something happens with the government or whatever. It would be really good if you had some way to connect with me and my content. I'm really concerned about that. And maybe you should consider that for other creators too.
And I want to get in there and clean it up.
My problem with Israel doing these things, what they're really aiming for is hegemony in the region. They want
Absolutely, yes. They're trying to control the region. They're trying to be more powerful.
to be the great power in the Middle East.
Yeah.
They want to have hegemony over that entire region. And that's a very critical region because as India and China rise, they're going to be doing all this trade with Europe, and all that trade is going to go right through the Middle East, the naval land routes.
Exactly. In fact, that's why Israel has been such a relevant region historically in the first place. It's the land bridge between Africa and Asia. And King David, thousands of years ago, united that whole region by marrying a bunch of concubines. And when he died, he handed it down to his son, Solomon. And Solomon nearly instantly, wise King Solomon, nearly instantly destroyed it. Like, used a heavy hand. People were complaining about taxes and things, and he said, send in the military, crack down, force them into compliance. And the whole region shattered to pieces. He was given an entire piece of land, and he lost it all, like instantly. So anyway, Solomon was not wise by any stretch of the imagination. He was an idiot, to be perfectly honest. I mean, who threatens to cut a baby in half, really? Anyway, the point is that Israel is equally as important today for the exact same reasons, seems to me.
And if Israel's collecting a toll on all that, on like with IMEC, which is the India-Middle East corridor, Belt and Road, they're going to become very rich. And I think that Israel, we have to consider, is sort of like a rival great power because they do whatever they want. They don't answer to us. They infiltrate our system, like our American billionaires, our American congressmen seem to answer to Israel. And it terrifies me that they'll have so much power by themselves and then have so much power over us. Right now, they're pretty weak because they have to deal with Iran. They have to deal with Turkey. They have to deal with, maybe all the Arabs teaming up against them. But if Iran's out of the picture, then they dominate the whole region there.
And then what do they do with this power? They attack America and take over America?
No, of course they're not going to attack America. Honestly, I don't think I really care personally if Israel gains more power. Generally, it's all of the fucking with it's them fucking with our political system that I have a problem with through AIPAC and whatever else. That's an issue for me, for sure.
Okay.
Not that they attack us or take over, but I think that then we're in a competition with them. And then it's a question of, do we really have sovereignty? I think that we're in a position now where we could still, for example, kick all the dual citizens out, register the Israel lobby, this sort of thing. I think that once Israel has all this power, is there going to be a pager attack in America? Is there going to be an intel operation?
Okay, that's a little ridiculous. Come on. Does he really believe this?
Here?
There's Muslim attacks in America. There's the West Side
No.
Highway. There's 9/11. There's Fort Worth. There is...
Those are literally the only ones he can name. And those weren't even like Muslim attacks exactly. Not all of them, I don't think.
I mean, you look at all the top mass killings in America, and it's black, it's mentally ill at the top, but third is Islam. So we're already being not decimated. We're already being systematically attacked by Muslims.
This is just complete bullshit. I think it's fascinating, though, that he left out 9/11, because if you include 9/11, Islamic terror attacks rank at the very top of politically motivated deaths in the United States. But Islam is like really, really, really low otherwise. The highest one, I believe, is right-wing domestic terrorism right now in the United States. Just insane.
But we have freedom to act against Muslims. When Muslims bomb us, we bomb them right back. We bombed Somalia 80 times this year. We bombed Yemen more times in a month than Biden did in a year. We bombed Pakistan. We bombed Iraq. We bombed Syria. But Israel, they blow up our ship and we don't do anything.
The USS Liberty?
That's like really, really old. That was a long time ago. But yes, they did do that.
That's just one example.
I think that was a friendly fire.
Brother.
It's one of the most contentious debates. It's extremely controversial and there's no consensus. The official position of the U.S. and Israeli governments, both the Israeli and U.S. governments concluded the attack was a mistake due to Israeli confusion about the ship's identity. Secretary of Defense McNamara testified to Congress that the investigation found no evidence the individuals attacking knew they were attacking U.S. ship. Well, it seems like they should know who they're attacking before they attack, right? I mean, just throwing it out there. Israel says that they mistook the USS Liberty for an Egyptian ship, the El Qasir, during the fog of war. They could have done it to cover up war crimes. They could have tried to prevent the discovery of plans to attack Syria. They could have stopped U.S. eavesdropping. I don't think those are strong enough, honestly. I don't know. Those don't sound like strong enough reasons to destroy a relationship between the United States and Israel. To prevent eavesdropping, I'm not buying that. It seems like it was probably friendly fire to me for that reason, but who knows? I don't think it really matters at the end of the day.
my white brother.
I mean, what makes you think it wasn't?
Because they were flying a giant American flag. They radioed
It's not giant when you're in a fighter jet going, Yow!
Well, the people on the boat said it was unmistakable. They knew what they were doing. They came in and shot the lifeboats.
The people on the boat are mad because all their friends died.
They got shot.
We're not allowed to use the people on the boat.
Yeah.
That's like when people go, what if your daughter was raped?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I wouldn't be rational at that point. But it looked like an Egyptian boat. I don't understand why you'd want to provoke an attack when you're in a 6-day war with all these other countries, why you'd want to get America.
Right. That's my reasoning, actually. It doesn't make any sense. Why would they do that? Why would they have attacked like that? That seems like counterproductive for Israel.
Against you, too. They approached the USS Liberty first and got shot at. So they couldn't verify. So the only really proof we have is the little flag, which from a fighter jet is not easily identified.
We also have the eyewitness testimony, which I agree maybe there's a bias, but they do all claim to this day that it was a deliberate attack. They said that they radioed in, they waved the flag, and the purpose, why would they do it? It was to conceal their troop movements, because when they were doing the 6-day war, they didn't want their operations to be foiled.
What was America even doing there? They said they weren't going to be there. They denied their existence there.
We were spying on them.
Okay.
Yeah, but they had no reason to believe that America was there is the point.
So we have no evidence. I'm saying they have no evidence that the.
Careful. Yeah.
We have no evidence that the boat was even going to be there. What are you doing? We're not going to be there. A boat approaches. They get attacked. They fly over. It looks exactly like an Egyptian boat. And yeah, friendly fire kills 30 people. They killed 12 Israeli soldiers in that war by accident. They're regularly killing their own hostages.
Well, that's their doctrine. That's their military doctrine, is to kill their own hostages.
Right, but killing their own people, killing people that they weren't killing the hostages when they weren't prepared to kill the hostages. Too early, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But, friendly fire is part of war. Vietnam, we lost tens of thousands of troops, and it was very unfortunate. I don't think it's a good example of Israel attacking us. I think
I totally agree, actually, with McGinnis here. I don't think it's reasonable to believe that Israel intentionally destroyed the USS Liberty. This is during the Six-Day War, June 8th. Wait, no. This happened in 1967. Yes, June 8th, 1967 is when it happened. I'm sorry, it's just too far-fetched for me to think that Israel did that intentionally. I mean, they were also absolutely out of their gourds back then as well. So I wouldn't put it past them necessarily, the government of the era. But there's just no logical, good explanation. This is an Occam's razor thing. The simplest explanation is probably the correct one.
I think there's more evidence that it was friendly fire.
Well, and, we could say for the sake of this argument, you say it's friendly fire, I say it's not the brother. Well, but here's the point is, it's about what they're capable of. It's this idea that, if they carried out, like they did in Hezbollah, in Lebanon, a decapitation strike on Hezbollah, if they did something like that in America, if they have regional hegemony in the Middle East, if they have all this influence in America, could they get away with something like that? That's what I'm worried about, because they do have an interest in our defense technology and our supply chains. And you got to wonder, how did the bombs end up in the pagers? It's shell corporations, it's supply chains, that's the sort of thing. And you look at these tech companies like Palantir. Palantir's run by Alex Karp. He's the CEO. And this is the company that's getting all the data, putting it together. You don't think they're putting a back door in there for Israel? And that's just like one.
I mean, I don't know that there's any reason to believe that, but I agree that Israel is out of their gourds and not trustworthy at this immediate moment. And they're like really, really, really disturbing, like the things that they're doing. I think that they would be willing to put in a back door. I just don't have any reason to think that they have yet. So,
example, but they got a lot of companies where, and 15 years ago, Netanyahu sent Unit 8200, which is their intelligence guys, to Silicon Valley to get involved in these businesses for that purpose. And so that in this world of spying, espionage, intelligence, and especially autonomous systems and drones, you wonder, do we get to a point where Israel flips a switch and the iPhones explode? Or, and that's like...
That's a little far-fetched, but keep in mind, like, Nick Fuentes is a master at sounding reasonable, but saying things that are completely disconnected from reality, and you shouldn't trust a word out of his mouth, including, like, the basis for his beliefs in certain things. You should not trust him.
Can't we focus on what if Saudi Arabia gets money? What if Iran gets power? Like, we're already there with Muslims. Mm-hmm. And look at what these fucking sheiks do.
We're already there. And did you mean Sikhs? Isn't Sheik the name of Princess Zelda in one of the Zelda games? What does Zelda do exactly?
What if Iran gets power? Like, we're already there with Muslims. Mm-hmm. And look at what these fucking sheiks do.
Tell me you play Zelda without telling me you play Zelda.
When they get their billions, they drive cars on two wheels. They face our women. They're barber pirates all over again. They just bring them over with money.
What?
And, they steal our comedians.
yeah, you see that?
For stupid festivals. Like this fear of what if Israel gets so much power. Islam's got it. Islam's in our government.
Oh, bullshit. Come on, dude. Really?
Right now. Ilhan Omar.
But she's a congresswoman. I mean, that's not...
I just think it's bizarre for him to make the claim that Islam is the problem here. Like, what? I don't understand.
The same thing. Mike Waltz was a national security advisor. He's working for Netanyahu. That's way worse.
Waltz is working for Netanyahu? What?
In my opinion.
Yeah.
That Rubio getting money from Larry Ellison, Secretary of State.
I'd like to see a study on...
That's bad. That's bad, for sure.
Who has more power in America, the Muslim Brotherhood or Israel?
Come on, that's Jewish propaganda. The Muslim Brotherhood. You sound like Laura Loomer. The Muslim Brotherhood's running everything?
Yeah. No, not running everything, but a major threat.
Not more than the Jews run Hollywood, finance, media, government. But what do Muslims run?
Ops against us.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, dude. This is too much. This is ridiculous. Gavin McGinnis claiming that the Muslim Brotherhood runs things? Really? We're listening to two complete nutcases over here make absolutely absurd claims one after another and pretend that each other are the problem here when they're both the problem.
I mean,
propaganda. Look at what has happened. Like anti-Semitism in the past year, 6 months, doesn't feel organic to me. It feels funded by Muslim Brotherhood. It's like you've always been pretty consistent. Jake Shields, whom I adore, it doesn't feel organic with him. He recites all these details like someone is getting in there, and I can name other people where they're getting funding to go against Israel, to go against
like Jake Shields is a Nazi. He's a Nazi, an ex boxer or ex MMA fighter or whatever, and now basically a Patriot Front extremist nutcase for all intents and purposes. There's no logic or anything to be found anywhere in that dude's head.
Jews, and I would say it's pretty mainstream right now to be anti-Semitic. It's like Free Palestine. You can wave that flag. Like in Britain, Britain's a weird example because they've already taken over that country. But there's a Muslim.
Oh please, dude! Muslims took over Britain. Really? Give it a rest.
Demonstration. You walk by with a yarmulke or a dog, and you're told you're disrupting it. You're disturbing the peace, even though you're on your way home.
But what did they do in response here? And in America, you have Trump seizing the endowments or the loans and grants for Harvard, Brown, UPenn. They're forcing it's a dozen schools in Northwestern, in Illinois, in Evanston. You have to take like a re-education course on Israel just to get in the school.
Great point. But I was talking to Toby Young, Lord Young in Britain there. He wrote How to Lose Friends and Alienate People. Great guy. He runs it.
Interesting. I've never heard of that book, but I guess it's a parody of How to Win Friends and Influence People. Okay.
This thing called the Free Speech Union that protects you if you show up in Britain and you get stopped at the border for a tweet, whatever. And he was, my mind just blanked. What were we talking about?
The Israel to get into Colombia.
Harvard,
all that.
And he was like, sometimes institutions get to this point where you have to go against your libertarian values and go, I can't believe I'm doing this, but the government has to fix this problem because there's no way these institutions will fix themselves. And I feel that way about Harvard and Columbia.
So you're in favor of authoritarian takeover, complete authoritarian removal of free speech, because you, in your delusional brain, think that there's some problem that exists that doesn't, and it needs to be fixed by force.
I never want the government involved in...
I'm sorry, wait a minute. 6% of Congress is Jewish, 86.7% is Christian. Hang on. There's a statistic I'm looking for that I may not have cited correctly. Let me find out. Yeah, what I meant to say was only 33% of Congress is not funded by AIPAC. 65% of Congress is funded by AIPAC. They contributed $45 million to members of Congress who won in 2024, making it the largest single organizational contributor to congressional candidates in the 23-24 election cycle. That's what I meant, which is a problem, in my opinion.
Schools, but these fucking schools, like it wasn't, people were not in trouble for saying from the river to the sea. They were fucking terrorizing Jewish students. They had to lock themselves in rooms. They were banging on doors. So I think the government has gone into these Ivy League schools and said, this looks real bad on paper, but you guys are so far fucking gone. There's a new professor at Harvard called, like, you could look this up, Sean, called like
Oh, I saw that, the drag queen.
Yeah. So
sorry?
That's how far gone they are. I mean, this is...
Who is he talking about? What is this?
Almost like calling in the National Guard.
But look at what they did at Harvard. They kicked out Claudine Gay, and that was after Bill Ackman intervened, because Bill Ackman's an alumnus of Harvard.
Interesting. Yes, Claudine Gay, if I remember correctly, did not respond the way that the administration wanted her to when there were protests in, pro-Palestine protests, basically. And they kicked her out for it and made up all kinds of nonsense about her.
And he leveraged the alumni network to withhold donations until it strangled the board. They kicked this broad out. Then they brought in a Jewish doctor to be the new president of Harvard. And what the Trump administration is imposing on Harvard, it's not just anti-protest, anti-Palestinian. What they're also doing is changing the Middle East studies curriculum. So it's pro-Israel in their school of foreign policy or political science. So it's like, and by the way, that's 5 out of 8 Ivy League schools now have Jewish presidents.
Yes.
I don't think that's a problem. I mean, people can have, people can be of Jewish ancestry or whatever, or affiliated with Israel, and it's not a big deal. It feels like, Nick Fuentes is just looking for this big evil monster to exist. And again, like Hitler said the exact same thing, that there was some underground secret network of Jews that like worked together to destroy the rest of the world or whatever. It's just nonsense. Complete nonsense. Always was.
But they're correcting this crazy current that's been going on for decades.
But 5 out of 8? Jews are 2% of the population. What is that?
Yeah, but these schools are anti-Jewish schools. And that's where...
Dude, 25% of Columbia is Jewish. Like, the student body
these Jews, I can tell you, I got friends going to St. Andrews in Scotland, which is basically Harvard. It's Ivy League Europe. Mm-hmm. And he goes in there as a Jew. He comes out there as a pro-Palestine, river to the sea guy. Like the Jew... there was tons of...
Okay, What happened to the idea that free debate should be allowed on college campuses? Can people not have conversations on college campuses? Is that not allowed anymore? Didn't Charlie Kirk go to these college campuses intentionally and specifically to encourage open debate with people? No, it's only okay when you're debating things and coming to the conclusions that I want you to come to, right?
Jews in those encampment in Colombia. They go to school to learn to hate. And this is what I wanted to get you to. Jews are exceptional whites. When they do bad, they do exceptional bad. When they do good, they do exceptional good. When they do...
Jesus, dude, what a thing to say. They are exceptional whites. What is broken in these people's minds that makes them think it's okay to view society this way? Jesus.
By the way, guys, check out my new shop, owenmorgan.com/shop. I have a bunch of really cool designs on there.
Good. My daughter was born at Beth Israel. Israel invents a pill that you swallow and it gives you a reverse colonoscopy and you film everything going down. They're overrepresented in the Fields medals. They're overrepresented in Nobel Peace Prizes. Yes, they're overrepresented in media and banking, as are the Irish, by the way. You've seen those memes.
Yeah,
of the Irish
the Hibernian.
yeah. So when I see these, I think Jews are really just whites who don't drink. If I didn't drink, I'd be...
They keep putting people into these little categories. They need to put people into these categories and create this conspiracy that they're all working together or whatever to accomplish a goal. Insane. Now, I do believe that as a nation, as a country, as a government, Israel is setting out to kind of control that region. I think that's obvious. Everybody can agree that's what they're doing. For better or worse, that's what's happening. But there isn't a Jewish conspiracy, a Jewish religious conspiracy where, as a religion, they're all trying to come together and benefit each other or whatever other nonsense.
President of the United States right now.
I agree, yeah. Well, you're Canadian. So
I would change that law. I'd be that powerful, like Bloomberg giving himself an extra term.
Yeah.
They're like the Amish. They're just us at our purest in many ways.
This us versus them thing, dude, is wild. How they view the world around them is just bizarre.
I don't disagree. They are gifted. And I agree with you that a lot of anti-Semites are reluctant to even give them their due because they are brilliant. And that is part of why they're so powerful. Because when you look at, for example, the quotas against Jews in the universities in the first half of 20th century, they were breaking through that stuff just because they were remarkable. There
is no remarkableness here. Human beings are human beings. This is one of the deepest problems right here. It's like Fuentes... I believe that he's a race realist. He thinks that race is real, a real tangible quality that changes outcomes in your life, and that's just false. race is not real. It's fabricated pseudoscientific trash. And the sooner we come to realize that, the sooner we can move on and stop being so deeply racist to those around us.
But here's my issue with them, because, you know, Bishop Williamson said the same thing. He's that
I actually stole that from him.
Yeah, I recognize it. I knew you did. I'm calling you out.
But he was quoting a video of me.
Yeah, there you go.
So I didn't really steal it.
Yeah. But he said that, and I agree with that. But my problem is not that you got bad apples, because every group has bad apples. My problem is that systematically their identity, which is racial and ethnic, is based on...
It's only ethnic because they intermarry, specifically because they face persecution and stuff like that. I mean, Jehovah's Witnesses encourage people to intermarry within their religion as well. That's just kind of how things work. But this racial quality is fictitious. There is no Jewish race. There was never a Jewish race. Like Hitler popularized this idea that there's a Jewish race, and it's just trash.
On this fear of persecution. They're 2,000 years in a diaspora, no home to call their own. They're segregated, they're persecuted. You know, we could debate about why that is, whether it's justified or not. You know, some people say, well, they're foreign, they're alien, they have whatever. But that is their experience, and I think they have this reflexive paranoia. They're afraid of outsiders, they're distrusting of outsiders, they're insular, they're tribalistic. And I think they justify that on the basis that if we don't act this way, everyone's going to rise up and kill us. Another Hitler will rise up, another Philip II, another Nicholas II.
Yeah, okay. I think I can see that, sure.
Someone's going to rise up and take us out. So that's why they have this group mentality. It's like a fortress. It's like a siege mentality. And I think that that's not a bad instinct, but it's bad when they have power over America.
Well, I would argue that I can't deny that. And when I went on my, as you called it, my all expenses paid trip to Israel,
Yes,
I kept screaming that even that, like, part of why they hate Trump is his blonde hair.
Yeah.
They have this trouble with the Aryan, and I think it's PTSD from their grandparents.
I'm sorry, what? Part of the reason they hate Trump is because of his blonde hair. I have never heard that before. I have no idea what he's talking about.
Talking about the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, anytime a white, whether it's you or me, and they don't care that I'm on their side, by the way. Anytime there's a white who is charming and has everyone's ear, we have to denigrate him because he's going to get us.
Right.
And
What?
that is something that both sides, both Orthodox, Republican Jews, and secular, even atheist Jews, you're right. They all have that characteristic. But that doesn't negate the Civil War.
Right.
Because the Orthodox Jews are saying to the secular Jews, what the fuck are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're ruining everything and you're going to get us killed. And they are getting them killed.
Yeah.
As I keep saying, wear a yarmulke in northern Paris right now. Like, all the Jews that live in northern Europe are getting terrorized on a daily basis. That's the first people.
Oh, give it a rest, dude. They're obsessed with the idea that, like, Muslims are controlling the world or some other garbage. Like, please.
Manchester. They're attacking. So I think that Orthodox Jews are saying to secular Jews, you're my worst enemy. Like, with friends like you, who needs enemies? They could have the same motives, but the secular atheist Jews are. And more proof that they're white, they self-sabotage. I think they're aware they're ruining everything.
Proof that they're white is that they self-sabotage. White people self-sabotage, apparently. Please get help. This ethnocentric obsession with race is wild, dude.
And they're ethnomasochists. Like, they all this shit, and you don't need to get married, and the world's overpopulated. The secular Jews are suffering from that. They're not having kids. Mm-hmm, Orthodox Jews' birth rate is great. So my sort of thing with race, my goal with my job and everything is, first of all, to make more American families of any race, but and fathers to say they're more Westerners, but also to kill this ethnomasochism. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the reasons that secular Jews, I don't know, are so wanton with their destruction is they have that white thing, which is self-destruction. Mm. And I think it's also a real reason for this anti-Semitism, because it's a fun target. Like, if my kids fart on my wife, they're in big trouble. If they fart on me, it's funny. I'll be like, oh shit, that reeked. Because I'm the top, you know?
No, I don't. I don't know. I don't understand what he's talking about.
And it seems that way with criticizing whites. Like you could,
Yeah, talking to Nick Fuentes about adult entertainment. Interesting. That's a good point. I forgot about that. You guys remember that one time that Nick Fuentes was looking at adult entertainment allegedly after his stream ended, or after he thought it ended?
And have a great rest of your
Here you go, right here. This is it.
and have a great rest of your evening.
It won't show anything. It ends.
Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo.
Yeah, there's gay adult entertainment over here. And yeah, people did not take that well at all. Why is Alvin getting it right? They changed the pitch, obviously, you know, because I didn't want to. Somebody else censored the audio and everything, and I didn't censor. I'm sorry, let me say it again. Somebody else censored the adult entertainment audio and all. I didn't actually censor that. Someone else did, but I thought it was, you know, really on point. It was a good voice, good choice of voice. Good night, Nick. Sleep well. WTF, whoa. Sorry, it's really loud. Hacked. OMG. WTF, WTF, WTF. Yeah, it's like a hack. Funny. Yeah, so Nick Fuentes. We're talking to Nick Fuentes about adult entertainment, is what you're saying? Okay.
fart on them. And that is why these college students, they don't give a fuck about the Christians in the Congo. They don't give a fuck about brown on brown violence, but they see a white person, an Israeli, and a brown person, a Palestinian, even though these Palestinians would happily kill them.
Right.
And have done, like that Italian guy who went there with the Arabic writing on his bicep, and they couldn't wait to kill him. Queers for Palestine.
I'm not sure what he is talking about right now, but okay.
They just choose the brown side because of ethnomasochism. And I've heard people blame the Jews on that. But it goes way before World War II, this, I f***ed up, I'm sorry. Shit. It's genetic.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of truth to that because
It is not genetic. There are no genetics involved in this whole racial quote unquote argument. And again, Jewish is not a race. It was designated a race by Hitler. You can tell that they have common genetic markers because they intermarried a lot because of the persecution. But that's as far as it goes. It's a religion. There are three different kind of subcategories, or three different ethnicities of Jewish anyway, and they have very little in common with each other. There's Mizrahi Jewish, Ashkenazi Jewish, and Mizrahi, Ashkenazi, and Sephardic Jewish. There are a bunch of different types of Jewish, and these people are obsessed with the idea that it absolutely must be a race. The world doesn't make sense otherwise. It's sad, honestly.
as you know, these Jews, what they've effectively embraced is liberal universalism, which is this colorblind, we're all going to be communist, we're all individuals, whatever.
What?
And I think you're right that I'm right wing. And the right wing Jews believe that the solution to the Jewish problem, because the Jewish problem is these people are persecuted, they're unassimilable, they won't integrate.
Who are you talking about? People will not assimilate? What people? To immediately turn on the adult entertainment after a stream. Fuentes was likely thinking about it during the stream. Oh, no doubt about it. He says that he was hacked, and he provided some paper-thin proof of showing a waiting room that very easily could have been photoshopped. It was just a screenshot of a waiting room with like some, I don't even know what he was trying to prove with it. Anyway, the point is, paper-thin evidence that he was hacked. Plausible deniability, I suppose. If you want to believe that he was hacked, then he's made it possible to believe, you know?
Right-wing Jews, the Zionists, believe the solution is we need our own country. We need our own territory with the military. It's got to have a Jewish identity because as long as we don't have a home, we'll be at the mercy of everyone else. The left-wing Jews say that's why we need to make the world universalist, because if the world is tolerant and multicultural, then we'll be tolerated everywhere.
But you're describing the liberal globalist ethos, of which billions of whites have signed up for.
And
pre-Jew signed up for.
yeah.
Like I always bring up slavery. We were way before the Jews took over the media.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to Northern Africa and saying to the Berber pirates, stop doing this. We were going to Africa. We abolished.
Oh, give it a fucking rest. Yeah. It was the white people in the slavery equation who are trying to prevent slavery from happening. Absolutely. Is the white people that were outraged by slavery. Totally.
Slavery. We went to Africa. We said, stop doing this. We said to Dahomies, literally Dahomies, stop doing this. I think Britain paid off its debt ending slavery like 7 years ago. That wasn't the Jews. That was this like, oh, woe is me. I have to, this altruism. That is a good thing in a Siberian winter in Norway in like 2000 BC. But now it's used against us and it becomes lemmings going over the cliff. And that's what I want to prevent. And I think the anti-Semitism Israeli thing, it becomes a scapegoat, it becomes a crutch, and we don't identify our problem, which is we are okay with our own destruction.
Well, here's my point: is I'm saying that debate runs through the Jewish community too. Is what I'm saying.
That's what I'm screaming.
Yeah, and I agree.
Don't steal
with you.
my shit.
But here's the thing: I'm not stealing it totally. The right wing Jews, it's particularism. The right wing Jews, they're not in favor of nationalism for all nations. You do your thing, we'll do our thing. By its very nature, if you're a nationalist, it's exclusionary. We want our nation to be strong. We want our people to be strong.
Yes, correct. Yeah, that's nationalism. It sounds like Nick Fuentes knows what actual nationalism is, like not a bastardized misunderstanding of what it is. That's interesting.